Call this meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of the Harrison County Board of Education, November 2nd, 2021. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Mr. Lopez.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Daugherty's on the phone. Brings us down to special recognitions and presentations, and we have a funding request from Johnson Elementary. Something?
Ready to go first?
Yep.
Quick. Mr. Kidd, would you like to come with me?
Sure. Daryl Brooklyn.
He's my sidewalk engineer. He's a retired engineer. This is Rod Kidd. Linda Kidd, his wife, taught first grade at Johnson for a number of years. On behalf of Johnson Elementary, I'm coming to request money out of the contingency fund for us to put an awning canopy up outside of our gym doors. It is basically the main entrance of 700 students coming in and out morning and evening. It's also where we have started bringing parents in when we do our kindergarten registration, preschool registration, because we have the great new gymnasium where we can house more people, keep people separated, that sort of thing. But what's happening is because there is no awning, there's nothing over top at all. The water just drips straight down over the top of the door, and kids are lined up from buses waiting to hand sanitize as they go in through the doors, get them face masks if they don't have them, and they're getting drenched. They have a long enough walk from the bus lane to the door. So our request is from the Board of Education, $7,819.85. Our PTA has raised $7,500 thus far. We've been working on this project for over a year, just trying to get prices within, trying to find out where you are.
No, you're right.
Trying to find prices that are affordable to meet our request. We put that out to numerous places. Sutter Roofing came in at $70,000. My brother came in at $35,000. City Construction came in $24,000, and we're able to do this for $15,000, so to speak, $15,300 and some dollars. It will be the same color red as the roof if it's granted, but that's all the money we have so far. It's hard for an elementary school to raise funds. We don't have athletics to bring it in. We don't have plays to bring it in. We rely on pictures, and last year we didn't do pictures because of COVID. So as an elementary school, we're just seeking additional funding.
Okay. And I think that may have been in the original design. Dr. Manchin took it out, so we'll blame him.
We can do that. Ernie's here. We might be able to blame Ernie too.
I think it was Doc.
Can I ask you a question? You actually drew this up and got the bids.
Rod Kidd.
I just have a real hard time with gap from 15,000 to 75,000. That's an awful big.
It's 70,000 for Sutter Roofing, and that it is a big gap. They all had the same plans.
Wow.
He is. I'll let him tell you his background
I just
also.
want to make sure for 15,000 that this company understood, because that is such a large gap. I just want to make sure you are getting what you want.
And he did speak directly to all these gentlemen.
Yeah, Sutter Roofing, they're the ones that made all the metal that's on all the canopies that are at school now. And that's what they do, is the metal work. So they went to a sub to do the framework to make up this canopy. That frame, whoever they went to was so busy, I got a feeling they just didn't want the job.
Yeah, I
So
saw
they
it.
just threw a price out there, and if you take it, man, they were gonna make a bundle. So I just discarded that one. That, most bids you get, you always have one high and one guy down here is, half what everybody else is. So you kind of throw those out and work with the ones in the middle. But the other two, City Construction and her brother's company, Huffman Corporation, 25-37, they were pretty close. But, the one we finally went to, this Alpha, is actually a canopy company. That's all they do.
Okay,
So,
I just wanted to make sure, because that's a big deal.
yeah, I understand, and you're perfectly,
Have you seen any of the jobs that they have done?
I've not seen them personally. They've given us pictures of a number of them. They do work, they're in Charleston, so they're a local West Virginia company.
And on the gentleman's iPad, he had different job sites he did, and he did show us awnings that came off of houses and buildings and that sort of thing. So we actually saw some live work that he did do, but it was up close and personal. It was through an iPad from pictures.
He's
And
won
we also had,
awards.
Danny went over and he, reviewed the site and he looked at the specs and he felt very comfortable with it. But
Okay.
I wanted to make sure.
Oh, I'm comfortable with the
Right.
15,000. I mean, sometimes I do think,
Well,
because we are Board of Education, we get overdid anyway. I mean, I'll just say that, I think that.
I think Danny and I were on the same page. We wanted to make sure it was sustainable, along with, and weather.
Right.
He was very comfortable.
Well,
I'm comfortable with it. They've won awards and,
it is within the parameters of the contingency funding, which is 50% and up to $20,000. So we're good, and I did check, and that would be $7,000, let me say it.
$819.85.
And that's, we have about 12,000 in there. If we have to allocate more later, we will. But as far as that, if there's no objection, I'll place it on the next agenda. And, but I think, I'm pretty confident that the vote will go that way, so you can go forth with it.
Thank you so very much.
Okay.
Because it is a lead time that, for them to get things ordered.
It'll be on our next meeting, so 2 weeks, but like I said, I think the feeling of the board is we're heading that direction, so whatever you need to do.
Just have to make sure they're ready to hit the ground running as soon as it's passed, so you can maybe get it for the weather gets.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Brings us down to our next item, delegations. We have one delegation tonight, Tanya Reinhardt, speaking on masks.
Good evening, Mrs. Stutler, Mr. Hamrick, and the rest of the board members. I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to speak. I know that there have been various perspectives on masking in schools and requiring students and personnel to mask, but I'm here on behalf of our AFT Harrison members, on behalf of myself as a classroom teacher and as a mom of 3, 2 of which hopefully will be able to get vaccinated soon, but currently aren't. But I wanted to say thank you, Mrs. Stutler, for continuing that. I know that, that's a tough decision. And I appreciate that, we're at least following the state code that says that every person that works in a school, that every student that attends a school has a right to a safe, equitable education. And I really do believe that wearing the masks have kept us safer, and it's allowing us to continue our education consistently and our work consistently. So thank you for that, and thank you for hearing all concerns, but continuing to keep us all safe. Thank you.
Thank you. It brings us down to superintendent's update, Ms. Stutler.
Yeah, Mr. President, we have a few things this evening. I believe the first thing, I don't know whether Jimmy wants to go ahead and talk about facilities. He's provided you with a secure entry.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
were just a few pictures of the.
If you wanted to talk about that.
Elementary school project. It's, it's every part of that school is being worked on at the same time. So to capture pictures of progress, it appears that it's slow, but it's moving along very well. It's hard to capture, but my understanding is you guys may view the site soon. So that'd be great to be able to see it in person. I really don't have any more on that other than, progress is going well.
If there's no objection to that before I forget, we would like to set a work session for next Tuesday, a week from today at 4:30.
Okay.
If we can go tour that facility. You hear that, Michael?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
That's fine.
4:30 on
At the Gore
Tuesday
site.
at the new Gore site. We'll tour that.
All right, fantastic.
Okay.
And then are you wishing to return here for the regular?
No, we'll
meeting?
just-
To have the meeting?
Yeah, that'd be the following week. We don't have a meeting next
Oh,
week, so
okay.
we'll just go do the.
Oh, you're
tour.
right.
That's okay.
So mark that down, Angela. Mark that down, Angela. It's next, I don't hear any objections, so
Okay.
next Tuesday at 4:30. Okay. All right.
Really, the only other thing is with transportation, I know that we've had a shortage of bus drivers, but, you know, we're slowly making progress in getting more people certified. And we have a person on the agenda tonight. And we had a good class that we interviewed, that we've started. So I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. We're just kind of building back our employees, had several that have retired, and we're getting people healthy again. So I think we're hopefully, you know, going to turn the corner and get healthy again in transportation. So other than that, I don't have anything else to report.
Thank you. We also wanted to talk a little bit about, we have a new finance director. He was hired last week, or the last meeting that we had, and he's worked all last week, and he returned on Monday, so we were happy that he returned. So if you want to just give us an update of what you're working on, and that's okay, just an idea of.
We're working on, I would say, there's a account payable process getting caught back up. So things being put back on for you guys to approve there. Getting access to different systems and everything else, so we can get that coming back in through. And we're working for November 15th with a couple deadlines for maintaining a couple of
I think the process has been getting him set up. We have quite a few different systems. And so it was getting him access. When he came in, we had several of them already in place, but of course you have to get the logins and the access. He's been working most of last week trying to get that set up and then finding him support to assist with the position too. So, but he was here all last week, and when he came in Monday morning, we gave him a hand. He's returned. So but we appreciate him just jumping right in and working.
If you need something, just tell Dora.
And working with us. So appreciate that. The other thing that we have that's really going on in personnel, if you want to update them, we've got, of course, the consolidation between, well, that goes along with the new Victory Elementary that you're going to get to see next week. Working with the two staffs there to consolidate those staffs into one. So she's been, Ms. Leesburg's been working hard and diligently to make sure that we have seniority dates correct and starting that process. So she's pretty well into that. So if you want to kind of update them on that, then we'll. It's going to be Victory Elementary, red, white, and blue collars. And the only concern was Mr. Hogan asked that we speak with the Gores. And he said, the only thing I'm asking is somewhere on that building down in the corner, put AKA Gore. But he was thrilled. And I actually attended a Lions Club meeting. They were thrilled that it's Victory Elementary.
And I would
So
usually ask
I've
for that
heard
is
very
I heard
positive
that
things.
The Gore family had said that if they ever did something good with the building or did some, you know, they would want their property back.
And actually, what it was because I had asked, and it didn't have to do with their name. It just had to always be educational. So we couldn't sell it to someone and it not be an educational
Right.
facility.
So I'm just glad we, got the blessing,
Well, it's been a long time coming. Of course, the building's still in progress, but, it was extended a year, so that kind of made the staffing.
And everyone who graduated from Victory High School kind of has a buy-in to that school now,
Right.
more than they did before.
But I know with both staff, we created seniority verification forms so that they can make sure, double check and confirm with them their seniority dates. And so that's what we're making a hierarchy list for the service and the professional, make sure they agree upon it. And we found now that there's a couple of different seniority times where we're going to have to pull numbers because they share the, 2 or 3 might share the same day. But go ahead and get all that finalized so that hopefully within a month that we'll be able to have them select their positions.
If you remember, it's been a year and a half ago that the faculties voted to give preference to those 2 schools so they
Right.
can maintain positions. So that's the process we're going through now.
We want to go ahead and get that taken care of well before transfer season to make sure everybody's aware of their options and where they stand and everything. Just, this has progressed for a few years to where they need to know.
And then we'll give them the opportunity to bid.
My question is, okay, I have seniority in the building and I I'm selected to go there. And then down the road after the season opens, another job comes open somewhere else that is, to me, is more attractive. So I bid out to go to that job, and say somebody that didn't get in, are they next on the list to get in, or does it open it up to everybody then?
You want to answer that?
I would believe they would have first refusal.
Okay, okay, I think they should have,
Yeah.
since they, but,
Only if it hasn't been board acted on.
Right.
Right.
Once we bring all those names to the board and
Mhm.
we've acted on them and we've made them part of that staff there, then they're going to be bidding back as a regular employee. They're going to bid on that position, then that job would be posted.
okay.
So once we place all these folks, we'll bring it to the board with all these positions, we're hiring them for Victory Elementary. Then you're going to have a list of the ones that maybe didn't get a position, they're going to be on transfer.
Right,
And so then at that point, once you hire them, you've hired them for Victory. And if
Okay.
somebody would leave and bid out, then you're going to repost it.
but reposted that everybody in the county can bid on
Yes,
them? So
yes.
those ones that were left out,
Once board action happens. Once board action happens.
Okay.
Because they become a part of that faculty.
okay.
Because you're going to have people changing their minds clear up until probably May.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, May, August, and you don't, it would be difficult to have them go back, but it's the board action piece that's going to create them as a regular employee at Victory. So,
Just hopefully they understand it. You know.
yeah.
I think this conversation got a little convoluted, and I'm not, I understand what you said, I understand what she said, I understand what you said, but I don't think anybody's saying the same thing. I just thought I'd say that.
It's a process. to
Well,
get
once
them
there's
all
board
placed.
action, then it goes to state code.
Yeah, once it's board acted on, they become regular employees of that building, yeah.
I don't think that's what Doug was asking.
I say,
Oh.
okay, in other words, I get selected through the board action as one of the teachers.
Uh-huh.
And then I decide another job comes open in
And you
another
bid.
school, and I bid out of Victory. Okay, I bid out, but say there was 3 or 4 people that didn't get in that was on that list,
Uh-huh.
do they have a preference? Do those 4 people still have the preference to bid back in and take the job that I left?
Not once we've acted on the
Okay,
position.
okay, okay, so.
But now they could bid, like in the process, if you move them and we haven't board acted on them and they move, then you would allow them to,
Okay,
yeah,
I just,
yeah.
'cause
So,
maybe they really wanted to be there and then they didn't get a
right.
job.
Well, yeah, we're gonna work hard to make, to try
Okay.
to get it made.
How many
Okay.
positions are going to be
Yes, ma'am.
gone?
Well, that's what we have to find out, what all is going to be available classroom size, or classroom wise at the school. And that's what we're figuring out the special ed numbers to find out exactly how many classrooms. We're also checking the Title I to see the estimate of funding as to how many Title I teachers there are
The
going to
ninth was
be.
one.
We've got a pretty decent gauge on the
Yeah.
classrooms themselves,
Well,
but it's
yeah.
the different specialties
those are-
that we have to check with the department to
One or
find
two
out
about
what are the
curriculum or
estimates to know how many locations are needed within the building.
And it's not safe to guesstimate at this time.
Probably towards the end of the week or next week, after we have a meeting, and we're gonna have a meeting with Julie and also with Laura and get everybody come together. and
The
find
two
out
principals,
According to the
yeah.
blueprints of the building and what options.
I'm just asking, are we gonna have 4, or are we gonna have
Oh,
24?
oh, there won't be 24.
Um,
There's not gonna be 24.
Okay, so we're not looking at
No,
it.
Lord, no.
Okay, that's all
And
right.
everyone has a job.
Yeah.
All
In the
right.
last 2 personnel seasons, we have cut at Wilsonburg. Wilsonburg is down to 1 classroom of what, 4th grade? And yeah, so we cut at Wilsonburg when we could to try to prepare for,
It's not a large.
so it's not gonna be a large.
Okay.
classroom.
I'm just
I,
curious.
I think that if we're in a situation where we have so many positions that need to be filled, we should not be cutting positions anywhere in the county. We should be
Right.
finding what we can
Right,
do.
Yeah, everybody's gonna have
Yes,
a position,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's not gonna be an
absolutely.
issue, yeah.
Mhm.
So, the last thing I have is I just wanted to update you, and this was great news. We have a Project Aware grant that is currently with WI. It's, we have Adamston and Wilsonburg involved in that. And we have therapists that are serving those schools, mental health therapists at WI, RCB, and those 2 schools. That grant started late, so there is extra funding in that grant. So they're allowing us to hire another mental health therapist. They're not hired through us. They are hired through the National Youth Advocate Program. They do the hiring, but they place them in those schools. They're there full-time in those schools. So that will make us 4 mental health therapists for that feeder area. So that was good news today.
Could you bring one of them in on night of board meetings
What?
to help all of us?
You mean, if we hire, just think, if we hire 2 or 3 more, we'll all have our own. That might be better. So, but that was good news that we heard today. So that's it for superintendent's update.
All right, Liz.
Can I make one other mention? You know, I called into the office. I guess this would be the appropriate time to say to you and David, working with that employment app and talking to you on the phone, you said that whoever does our employee, like, you know, these jobs are open, are not mobile friendly. I
Okay.
think there is a problem with that, and we need to find out if we're gonna get mobile friendly, or if we need to find another company. Because the majority of people are looking on their phones, and if you're on your phone and you wanna see what jobs are open in Harrison County, it is not, it's nearly impossible. Nothing lines up, it's all over the screen. So we need to either get the current company mobile friendly or look for a new company, because you cannot apply or look at the jobs available right now on your phone for Harrison County, and that's
No,
not
I agree with
acceptable.
you. Yeah.
If I can talk with Paladin, I've got her number.
Oh, that's not acceptable.
No, I
On your
could
phone and
Say that, I can
five
find
different
it.
sentences.
We can
That's
find
what-
it all.
that's what
Yeah.
the news is.
Can I bring it up? Can I bring it up and
It's
ask?
not even something that's new. I mean, most everything.
Oh, and then
is
there's a,
mobile friendly.
I need to
Yeah.
mention a filters too, I forgot about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to bring up was the possibility of announcing the 2 days that we were talking about doing ice pack days. Is that confirmed? And make sure that we get it out there in the public to let everybody know that those 2 days will be ice pack days?
Yes, we were looking at the week of Thanksgiving, and I can't say enough about our employees and how we have had to cover and fill positions, and it's getting better. Some schools really have large numbers out, and teachers are filling in, they're taking their planning periods and covering. We've got just everybody stepping up to help, and Vicki can verify that at Johnson, and our just administrators and our teachers just going above and beyond. So we were looking ahead at the Thanksgiving week. We're struggling every day really to have drivers in the buses. So we're thinking that week, instead of those 2 days, we would like to do ice pack days. They are instructional days that will count. We do not have to make those up in June. We have 5 of those that we can use. So we're going to prepare those as instructional days where the students would not attend. Teachers will be available for instruction on those 2 days. So that way, from home, yes, from home,
Yeah, I think that it's
So-
important to note that because the way everybody can start planning.
right.
Well, heads up, I already got messages, are you gonna do it for Christmas too? Just to let you know.
The
Well,
Christmas,
actually, when you said that, I was like, oh, I did get a message.
the Christmas holiday starts on the 22nd, and so the kids are already off on the 22nd. There's no students on that day, so they're actually out on the 21st, so we were not looking at that, other than maybe allowing teachers early out on the 22nd. You know, and then we are looking at some mental health activities for our staff coming up in January on some of those faculty senate PL days. Because you just can't say enough about what they're doing to keep our schools open. You'll see on here tonight a policy to add some additional money. Money doesn't always fix things, but it helps a little to try to compensate them more for their hours that they're putting in to cover planning periods. And we have teacher here, but you know, you don't always want to give up your planning because you need it.
Right.
And we're very aware of it. We know what you're doing. We appreciate that you're working so hard to keep our schools open and to keep our kids in school. And I just really can't say enough. We see it every day, what you're doing. So we sure appreciate that. I appreciate the board for allowing us the opportunity to allow them to have possibly those 2 days
for Thanksgiving break and our families for understanding that. So, and the other thing I forgot to mention, there is a trip ROTC at, we didn't get it on the agenda. We have a new ROTC colonel at Robert C. Byrd, and there's a training in Garrett County, Maryland on Saturday. A competition for his 10 ROTC cadets. He didn't know he just put in for a bus. He didn't realize that he had to get the trip approved. And so he's asking for permission and Mr. Gibson that he can take this trip to Garrett County. I believe you got the bus request, Mr. Lopez, or do you know anything about it yet?
I mean, I can double check.
Yeah. Would that be an issue? And then we can bring it,
Bring
the
it retroactive,
details.
we'll approve it retroactive.
Yeah, it really was, just he didn't understand the process.
Understand.
Is it a one-day affair?
Yeah, they're going up for the morning and it's a competition with his ROT. He's expecting 8 to 10 students.
Put it on the
To go.
next agenda, we'll approve it retroactively. And with that, we do have one other work session that we wanted to do at 4:30 the following Tuesday to deal with curriculum.
Yes, sir.
It's prior to the
So
board.
the 16th?
Yeah, prior to the next board meeting.
Okay.
And that work session is really to let you know what we're looking at curriculum wise,
Curriculum.
to address some of these learning losses. We'll talk about the ESSER funding and the staffing that we're putting in and making sure that we're taking care of our kids.
4:30 on the 16th.
Yeah,
Yes.
so 4:30 the
And then
next
we got a regular meeting.
next two Tuesdays, 4:30.
And then that's followed by a regular meeting at 6
Yeah.
o'clock
Right.
on the 16th.
You just brought up a question because of overrides. 8 students, do we not have many buses? I mean, would we take a huge big bus for that? Gas prices
Well,
and everything, or do we have?
I
bigger
asked him if they were
vans?
going in vehicles and he said no, they would request a bus.
Or do we have like vans?
Mm.
Or mini buses, something, I mean,
The
that's.
state transportation department, it's kind of a big no-no.
You can't get names.
15 passenger
vans.
van, yeah.
Do we have smaller buses?
Well, we have special needs buses, but to be honest with you, they're not going to be much, they're not going to be much more fuel efficient than a regular size bus.
I was just curious when you said
Right.
that.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I'm finished, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's 8 kids, but then you have chaperones,
Right.
adults.
I think they have
Oh, yeah.
equipment, I think they have
There's
equipment that they're taking,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's why they
It's
needed
a
the bus.
rifle.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, just bring it, we'll do it retroactive.
Yeah.
All right, that moves us down to approval of consent items. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business, architect, engineer of record for American Rescue Plan Elementary, Secondary Schools Emergency Relief Funding projects. And it's there, and that's the staff recommendation.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Comprehensive Educational Facilities Plan, Amendment Number 1, application approval. And this is to amend our CEFP to include, you see it there, the
RESA
RESA building, back into it, moving United High School to Wilsonburg facility upon completion, and then naming of Gore Elementary as Victory Elementary School. And that's just an addendum to the CEFP. Is there a motion?
So
I'll
moved.
make a motion.
Been moved and seconded by Mr. Hoag. Any discussion?
I have a discussion.
Okay.
Moving United High School to Wilsonburg, I thought we had this conversation that we needed a cost or something. I mean, I don't think we can approve something without a cost of renovations to that building. Can we?
I think they're asking us, we can approve where we're going to go with it, but the renovations, we're going to have to send out for
Yeah,
bid.
this doesn't hold us into any dollar amounts.
Right, there's no dollar amount associated
Well,
with it, just
I
moving.
can approve that when we have WI up there in its condition, and this could be millions of dollars and we don't know. I mean, it's my vote, but when you have all these students at WI that have been waiting for a school for years and years, unless there's a number or some type of number. I mean, are you talking about 100,000? We had the one estimate for 3 million?
Million.
I mean,
I don't anticipate much of anything.
No,
Right now, we're looking at just bathroom renovations because they are designed for elementary kids. And so
Yeah,
when,
that's the only
before
thing
Joe
that's a
left,
Is a
when
bathroom which could possibly be
bathroom
done by our.
renovations, they're going to use the building as it is as far as the configuration. Those large estimates that you saw prior to, that was changing the whole front entrance and changing classrooms and dividing up, was something to do with the front offices.
yeah, there was
Yeah.
reconfiguring that, and also some working on some drainage. And Danny, some of his guys are going to do most of that work. So we want to get them in there, and a lot of that work can be done in-house.
one more time, I am not against them going to
Right,
those.
right.
I want to make that very clear.
Right.
But as far as needs and our current CEFP, converting that for millions of dollars for United High School is not on their list.
You're not even gonna be.
That's all I'm
You're not even
saying,
gonna be
I'm
to
not,
10,000.
I'm not.
Yeah.
We're not even gonna be to
Yeah.
10,000. I mean,
It's
you're gonna
not
be
gonna
just
be.
very minimal. You're only talking one conversion of a bathroom, you're basically
We
moving.
probably will have to do a greenhouse.
Well,
move
and
the
that's
greenhouse.
something,
Yeah, I think
that's not the renovation,
Yeah, grant money.
that's separate from that. But as far as moving in, we can move them in on day one. We just have to change that. We just have to change the bathrooms, and you're talking very. I mean, you're talking money that's already been appropriate. It's not like.
Those would
Well,
have been
I said that in
renovations
writing.
we would do anyway.
I mean, I have to tell you, I mean, I don't understand what is being discussed hasn't been in writing. The only thing we've seen in writing was what, a $4 million plan or something?
We never.
And I mean, that's all I'm saying. I just don't understand why.
It was
we
like
can't get
one
I
that.
think it was about $1 million.
1.1 million.
Yeah, but that was, at that point in time, it was, we were looking at almost redoing that whole facility, especially the front entrance.
Do
And
we
then I
not
think the
have
reality
to,
of it, we
do
don't.
we not have to vote on that specific subject of moving it to Wilsonburg?
I believe we already
The
did. but-
CEFP committee presented that to you all.
Yeah, that's in part of the CEF.
Yeah,
The original CEFP, when we were closing United, they were going to go to Adamston.
Yeah,
So now the CEFP, this has to go back to the State Department. We have to correct that to say that they're going to Wilsonburg. That's all this is the word.
And I'll have to look
Instead of
at-
Adamston, they're going to
But we've
Wilsonburg.
addressed it on a couple of occasions.
Just to correct our CEFP at the state level. And then we'll go in and we've talked to Danny, we're gonna do in-house renovations there. They're gonna have to move with the facility the way it is, but we just need to indicate that they're going to Wilsonburg.
We've got,
The closure document said that it was going to go to.
To Adamston.
Then the staff came in and they spoke. and
that's the
they
only
were-
time I heard about it.
They really liked
Yeah.
the green space out there, and I know that you all were kind of in favor of that. The CEFP committee took a look at that. They also agreed. And even though it was approved in the CEFP, the state didn't see that. It didn't really matter. They wanted it to they wanted it to show it in an application change, on the CEFP. So that's the reason why it came about.
okay, well, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries. Old business, no old business. Policy updates 2206, 3202, 3212, and 3309. That's his teacher covering planning period.
That's where the policy committee met, and it's really, we were paying him $20 for a planning period to cover, and they increased it to what we generally pay for teachers' hour. We just increased the amount
Okay. So
as an
these,
incentive.
and I'm just looking, these are for policy changes not to put out on public comment, is that correct?
Well, that would be up to you all if you would like to put them out.
No, I'm fine. I mean,
The substitute teacher one, generally, the critical needs is not, usually that's just sent to the State Department, they approve it.
Let's do the
Um,
Is there a time sensitivity on this?
I was gonna say,
If-
you want to
I
move
think I would like for it to go through this year, then I think I'd like to revisit it before school starts next year, because, we
Things
have a lot of
change.
people giving up
Yeah.
planning periods, to say to teach another class, and I just think that we ought to revisit this before new school year. I know we're under a lot of
Revisit this policy change, or you mean, or
policy
go ahead and,
and, you know, give.
that's just changing the amount.
No, I don't, not the amount, I'm not worried about it if we allow it next year, but I'm just saying, a lot of people are starting to give up their planning periods.
And we
Whatever
understand.
reasons.
But what I'm saying, as far as this teacher cover planning period, this just changes the dollar figure.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
we've always
wanted
had
to
that.
go forward with that, because even if they're covering,
Yeah,
especially if we have less
I
people
have no
covering
problem
than.
with that, I just say, so I want to revisit.
Well, let's, I would entertain a motion on all four of these to put them out for public comment for 30 days. That way that gives us, gives everyone a chance to at least have some input on it.
I'll make a
There's no
motion.
time sensitive.
I'll make a motion to place the policies out for 30-day comment.
Is there a second?
I'll second them for discussion.
Okay, it's been moved to second to discussion. Mr. Hope?
My only discussion is that, what are we going to do for these people that are covering other people's planning periods now? And all, are we going to?
We currently are paying.
But are we going to go, we're currently paying
We're
them,
not back
but,
paying.
but can, if we agree to it, then should they not be compensated for already done, or does it go from that point on?
I would
They
believe.
have to go from
Go
there.
from that point on.
Okay. All right, so after 30 days, then we'll come back, and then if we allow them to cover planning periods, then it'll increase the
I
amount.
just think, and obviously, I'm for it, but obviously if we put something, if we approve other policies before, then we hear that we didn't put it on public comment period, so we might as well put it on
Okay.
public comment period, even though I think, you know, I'd like to get the money to them now, but I understand if it was the opposite, we would hear a lot because we didn't bother putting it on public comment period.
All right.
So, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Personnel matters, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the personnel matters as presented by.
Moved by Mr. Hoag, seconded by Mr. Daugherty. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. No legal disciplinary matters, board member comments. Mr. Daugherty,
I have none.
Ms. Messenger.
Just very sad to see Connie's, Mrs. Buckley's name on here for retirement. Very, very sad. She is a wonderful teacher.
Mr. Hoag,
I only want to say that the Harrison County lost a great man the last couple of days in Tommy Thomas, who not only was a professional boxer, but also a police officer and started the DARE program. And I was very blessed that he was at Washington Irving when I was there, and there was nobody more respected than Officer Tommy Thomas by the kids, by the parents, by the community, and the things that he done were, you know, for kids was just could never be probably duplicated. We can have all the programs we got going now, but they don't match up to what he started. And
He had the best DARE prizes ever, didn't he?
yeah, and his and our condolences should go out to his wife and his family. So.
and I agree, and if possible, because he gave so many years, could we prepare a card and give
Sure.
to them
Yes,
on
I
behalf
will
of the
make
board?
sure.
Yeah. He was my DARE officer for years.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
we-
he
if
was
we
like
can-
everywhere. Just go out to his trunk, he had everything.
He did.
We can get a card on behalf of the board. Mr. Devano?
He gave me a.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Apology.
And I have
Do
nothing.
you want to?
We could.
I think we should allow.
Pardon me?
Us from the school system?
Just saying.
Okay.
Well, I think there's a couple of programs he wanted donations to, I don't know what they were. We may make it whatever donation to.
Yeah, I mean, he was
Well,
a true
yeah.
integral part of our county and the kids and the adults that we see now.
For sure.
He influenced.
And if it's something as,
Yeah, well-
as a system we're not allowed to pay for, then I think,
Yeah, we'll leave it to
Yeah.
Ms. Stutler,
We'll take
let us
care of
know.
you figure it, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll take care
Take
of
it out of our own
just take
pocket.
care of it.
Okay, yep,
I mean, you know our
it. We'll take
clients.
care of it.
okay. And I have nothing. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Children of peace, go in peace.